Hello, peoples. How's it going? Let me know if you can hear the music okay and my sound and my voice and all that good stuff. I wish there was a way to just easily see who's like watching the stream. Anyways, there's like a viewers list. It shows 3 viewers watching, but I have no idea if that's accurate or not. All right. Refactoring first. Start off with refactoring until someone jumps in and asks questions or something. New game. All that looks good. Movement of the wisps. Potentially can move that to a separate file. I like the effect that it has right now. How do I do this? Yeah. Move wisp calculation into a separate module for now. That looks good. Calc camera, calc player, calc fade out cue. Hey Lovey, how's it going? Fade out cue.rb. Got my eye tracker working and kind of see what I'm looking at. Yep, like the little square is kind of where my eye's at, and kind of see like what I'm trying to reason through. All right, fade out cue should be good. I'm just kind of refactoring right now. Kind of a, I want to say writer's block, but yeah, sometimes when I'm like, can't think of like any inspiration, or it's like, I don't know what to work on. This is what I end up doing. I like to name all the things that are being passed into portals. Blue, orange, tick count, player, camera, geometry, level, then FXQ. I can make it. I can increase the alpha if you want to make it less obtrusive, less unobtrusive, more obtrusive. One of my brilliant apps that I've yet to sell to anyone. I just keep it to myself. Do I even have portals working like with this refactor? Three one, mruby 3.1. It's not that simple because whatchamacallit, the performance profile changes, and Firestorm is based off of 3.0. So there are new opcodes added to 3.1, and we want to get 3.0 working well before we jump to 3.1. I mean, it's hard to say if we'll even move to those specific minor numbers. Hey Poto, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I think this is the first time. Yeah, first time on the stream. Welcome. Portal mechanic in place, sort of. With spinnings and stuff. And I was refactoring, waiting for people to join if they wanted to. Yeah, a bunch of things have changed. I'm not even 100% sure, but I think hash performance actually got worse in 3.1. So FXQ is not passed into player collision. So do I use FXQ? Okay, I use it for portal shots. All right, that makes sense. Blue portal. Orange portal. Heyo, Boots. Good day to you. What brings you here? Tell me about yourself and stuff. Can y'all hear the music okay? Hopefully the music is coming through loud and clear. Calc player collision. Yeah, that looks good. And then calc shot portal. Calc shot portal. Why do I call it calc shot portals? Like, it's just calc portals. Hey, Owen. Butts. Your name's Butts. That's how I'm always going to see it now. Instead of Owen Butler, Butts. Blue portal. So basically all these parameters are being passed in again. Owen Butler is going to be from now on called Obuts. Alright, so Calc Portals takes in all the same parameters. Yesterday I realized the amazingness of both outputs.sprites and intersect work, erect working with XY, made bulk hitbox closures only a couple of lines of code from a project. You are a genius. I appreciate the kind words. I really do. Yeah, it's always interesting seeing how people end up using like the output collection. It's like an array. It's an array of stuff. And that array of stuff is exactly that. It's an array. It's great. And people don't realize that there's a lot of power that comes from just having an array. Because you can do stuff with it. Instead of a side effect like draw sprite. This refactoring is going to get boring. We'll eventually look at stuff. And then everything is still passed into Calc Portal except it's the color. Portal color, portal tick, and then everything else is being passed in as usual. I'll go and make this air quotes private as a marker for subsequent refactors. But that's good enough. So portals.calc. Then I set the portal values. But yeah, it's a side effect that's coming over, so I'm setting it to nil at the top level instead of inside of a portals calc. So I could have, let's see. So there's your calcs. I could do something like this maybe. Results is equal to this. And then orange portal. And then move that here. Yeah, see, it's still, the eye tracker still occasionally like just goes, and it's like, screw you. And it happens in one of the thread dispatches. Read from file. See, I don't read from file too often, but for some reason it like just screws up. No. State. Yeah, eye tracker does work in mysterious ways. I had to write a lot of C code to get it working. So of course, I screwed something up. All right, so now I return results. So I have my results. And then state.blue portal is equal to results.blue portal. I'm sure I messed something up in that refactor. But yeah, we can take a look at like new development once I figure out this is working correctly. All right, there's my portal foobar. All right, and then if it looks like my portals are shifting correctly, which is good. Go into the portal. Yep. Got a little bit of spin on my devices. That looks nice. Yeah, portals are looking good. I found something that kills DR with 100% effectiveness. Yeah, don't do that thing that kills DR. Stop crashing it. Refactoring things. Stop crashing DR. I mean, it's fine. Like, if the crash is obvious, like it was this change XYZ, caused a crash in DR because I set this property, then it's like, it's lower priority because we know the reason for the crash. So it's a part of me is like, don't do that thing. But if the crash is weird, like you do some stuff and then 10 seconds later it crashes, those are the not good crashes. Poto has such a large save file. Yeah. So slash rent on JSON serialization. Consider not using JSON serialization. Consider just serializing sub-partitions of your game state as just flat files. Like if you have a really large collection, like for map data, so like just to show you my map data is this. It's a CSV. Like I'm not trying to serialize a massive collection of arrays or anything. It's just they're all just little CSVs that I have. Instead of me trying to serialize the entire state of an object. So it's like serialize this part of the game under walls and serialize this other part under checkpoints, and then the position for the player might just be, player position.txt, and it might have just two values in there, right? An X and a Y value. And I read it, split on that specific file, and then move forward with it. So instead of trying to serialize a massive JSON blob, you just create a file for different partitions of your game. And I found that to air quotes scale really well, and it's somewhat resilient to corruption also. Like if you corrupt a facet of your structure, the rest of your structure stays uncorrupted. And yeah, there are situations where like persisting like an entire structure is extremely expensive. So I only want to save, you know, a substructure of that larger structure, and partitioning it up into like just flat files. It simplifies a lot of things. So I'm not necessarily against JSON serialization. I found that even with like the save state load state, I found that just having just flat CSV files seems to pay more dividends than I thought it would initially. I also need to make a clarification. I was confused. It wasn't a fault of JSON file, but a single hash variable having too many string keys inside makes Ruby slower quite naturally. I didn't fully realize the full scope of that crash back when I was reporting it. AKA JSON serialization doesn't slow crash DR. It's not an error in my serialization itself. Yeah, I mean, it's just something to take into consideration is that I think myself included, wanting to serialize the entire game state in one structure felt like the right thing to do. And I haven't reached that point of full state serialization because I take this like weird quasi-partitioned approach of saying, okay, well, walls are going to go into walls.txt, and player position is going to go into player position.txt, and maybe the blue portal location will go into blue portal.txt and orange portal.txt. And then I'm not worried about it. I can save just those pieces of the system as opposed to trying to save everything all at once. So I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, or what the in between answer is. And JSON might be like the AAA enterprise TM approach that inevitably I end up resolving to. But right now, these flat files are like really just working pretty well. As far as like loading data, let me see. I have a load. Yeah, load level editor if needed. So I retrieve walls and then CSV to sprite. I have a function that just takes each line, splits it on commas, and then constructs a sprite based off of that. And it's like, why does it need to be any more complicated than just a comma delimited set of values? It is only me, Emacs. Is it only me? Is it only me? Emacs looks very neat. Yeah, I've customized the theming and stuff quite a bit in Emacs. All right, so let's. What do we want? What do we want to work on? So I have a portal mechanic. I've got this like spin mechanic that lets you like spin while you're in the air. See that? So you can gain like additional airtime by spinning in a specific way. So if you spin away, it kind of straightens up your values. Kind of lessens your fall. I want to see if increasing that spin mechanic gives me some more control, less control. But yeah, if you have Emacs questions, always happy to answer Emacs questions. All right, so derotation, I do plus equal 3. What if I change it to 5? What kind of interesting So I'm here. Any thoughts on versioning those save objects with either approach? Yeah. So versioning is a facet of it, right? So maybe I have maybe v1 I save to walls.txt, and then v2 if it ends up being a break change, I'll do walls-2.txt v2.txt. And then during the upgrade process, I can check and say, well, if they have walls.txt, then migrate to walls_2.txt, taking into consideration everything in walls.txt. So that's another benefit of taking this like flat file approach, is that you can independently version substructures of the game and provide a means of migration from one version to the next. And it's a la carte, right? I'm not trying to version the entire thing. I'm just saying, well, okay, walls_v2.txt doesn't exist in this install, but walls.txt does exist, which means that I need to migrate them over to walls_v2.txt. And so that helps like kind of the version aspect of things, and it localizes your chance for corruption. So if you botch something on walls, the game might still be recoverable to some extent. So that's one idea that I've had with respect to versioning that's worked really well. For your production games, it's generally a good idea to save somewhere like the first install that they did, like what version they had on the first install, first install date. Like if you decide to change monetization, then you know like their install date, if it was before a specific date when you did a price change, you know, you give them that unlock that's a in-app purchase for free because of their install date. Simply thinking of providing a third-party Ruby script for save file migration. Yeah, so migrating save files is not that simple, because what if they're on version 1, but you had a breaking change to walls on version 2 and version 3? Well, maybe you can't migrate directly from version 1 to version 3. Maybe there has to be an interim in between. Yeah, install dates, first install date, first installed version are generally two important things to have in there, specifically for controlling pricing. And then that helps with migrating people over based on monetization, and migrating people over based on like updates to like different versions of your game. Yeah, it's really, really important when you're experimenting with pricing to have that first install date. In terms of install date history, doesn't Steam API also do purchase history too? Potentially, but that's just Steam. What about itch? What about App Store? What about Google Play? Right? Each one of them will have their own variant with respect to how they do monetization. Add these. People don't read them. People don't read the docs. I'm kidding. I know some. I know people do read the docs, but there's like a part of me says DR should do this for you. Like, that's something that I want to add to DR, is just to have those like specific facilities of your game just automatically saved on your behalf. But yeah, monetization can be tricky at points. All right, so I changed the spin to be a little bit more heavy, All right, I want to try something kind of like a wall kick. So I'll go into map editor mode. Come on. My eye tracker's getting in the way. No, I don't want that. There we go. So what if I do, yeah, some kind of like wall kick thing. So if I have those specific points. Not what I wanted. Alright, so can I wall kick all the way up just using spin? That did not work. Seems like the walls are a little too far away. Do I not have delete working? Was it when I press... let's go into my level editor. Delete terrain is inside of input requests. How do I delete terrain? Yeah, keydown.x should delete terrain. So I'm holding down X. Why aren't you deleting? You're just adding more terrain. Delete terrain is there. All right, delete terrain is there. So where am I messing up? That's the toggle. Checkpoint, checkpoint. Where's my click? Here? Am I here? Okay, I am here. I just straight up didn't tile selection. Yeah, so that's the tile selection stuff. If input requests all right, so you're still adding tiles. Why? Checkpoint, previous checkpoint. Input request.delete terrain should be here. We should add these thoughts. Yep. Yeah, I could see a lightweight simple query API for these things. Got it. Yeah, as far as like discoverability of like some of these mechanisms, I'm trying to think of ways to like have it organically discoverable. Without having to go to the docs. Okay, so X and then click Save Terrain Definition. So let me see where my click. So there's my mouse click. I don't think I have click anywhere else. Yeah, I don't have click anywhere else. Delete terrain requested. It's not even getting into this block. Is it not even? Are we even? Okay, so it should be getting into that block. All right, so input request delete underscore terrain. Oh, it should just be key held.x. That's why. All right. Yep. That's better. See, there goes my eye tracker again. All right. So for delete terrain, okay, it deletes the terrain that's intersecting with the player. What? That makes no sense. Oh, is that how I was handling delete? I was here and just, okay, that was my delete logic. All right. That's not intuitive at all. See you, Levy. I'm sure I'll still be streaming at least for a couple of hours. All right, so if I go, all right, I'll change that back. Terrain deletion is done with pressing X, and it'll delete the terrain intersecting with player. Obviously. All right, so you can almost wall kick up. All right, it's not a fun mechanic. I didn't enjoy the wall kicking. Let's try again. All right, so wall kick's not interesting. Yeah, and then you just like lose momentum. Okay. So wall kicks are not fun. Let's get rid of that. Got 6 people in chat, apparently. Welcome, people in chat. Feel free to ask questions and stuff. Happy to answer said questions. If you have any. All right, so we don't need this. That's all good. Line these things up because it's prettier that way. All right, so wall kicks are not fun. Let's get controller input working. to input underscore player. So we'll say input underscore spin left. Spin left will be Q or inputs dot controller 1 dot L. Is it L1? I think it's L1. Turn my controller on. Yep, L1 is working. Input underscore spin right. E or R1. Helps if I actually use the value. All right, spin left and right looks good. Direction looks good. Okay, cool. I already had triangle for reset. Yep. So I'll do if input underscore reset game. That would be inputs.keyboard.keydown.r or inputs.controller1.abxyx. If input underscore reset game, reset next tick. Controller 1. Yep, so I have this concept of a spin. I don't know what to do with it though. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with this concept of a spin. When you're on the ground, yeah, I used left and right to aim. I need to fix the debounce on the sounds right there. It's like it's too many dings. And then tab is how I switch to the portal. Can you boost in the air diagonal direction or only square directions? Right now, it's only square. So you can do up, down, left, or right. Diagonal's interesting. It becomes a little tricky with, like, how do you... I guess I could do it on release for diagonals. How would diagonals feel? Well, I don't have any... everything's axis aligned. I don't have any ramps or anything in this. The question is... Yeah, how would diagonals feel? I'm not sure. And I guess the release of the diagonal... I'd have to also think about, like, on a controller or keyboard, what constitutes a diagonal. So right now it's on key down where I do the movement. So I'd want the movement to be on key up. And then, like, misclick of a diagonal, that becomes a little bit tricky. The spin mechanic's interesting. I just don't know how useful it is. Like, it lets you change the trajectory of the... So if I'm right here, and I aim straight up, and I hold R1, like, it lets you kind of, like, spin left and right. It's too subtle of a mechanic to be worth anything, though. It's stupid. All right, let me tab input underscore change cycle ability, I think. Abilities. Cycle abilities would be tab or inputs.controller1.keydown.x. Got the question mark. All right. Cycle ability. Got our portal. Portal's a little bit hard to see. The aim reticle. You can boost in the air in diagonal direction, or yeah, only square. And the question is like, how do I get reliable diagonal input? It's almost like if I'm gonna lean into this to this spin mechanic, it almost feels like I need to get rid of the maneuverability in the air. Because then you actually want to, like, kind of use the spin mechanic to move the circle around, but it's so subtle. Like, I don't know if it's worth anything. It's a cool idea, but yeah, and it's hard to it's still very hard to recover. I don't like the spin mechanic. Damn it. It's stupid. It doesn't do anything. What if I set it to 10? turn it up to let's turn it up to 11. Let's make it 50. This is another thing with game dev, like jumping into like classes and structures like that, especially when you're still trying to figure out what your thing is going to be like. It's so premature. Because I'm just trying to get the spin mechanic working, and I have no idea whether it's worth anything. And right now I'm not committed to it. Whoa. Crazy spin. Yeah, 50's too much. Five probably feels too much also. It's a dumb mechanic. It's not useful. Well, I mean, the rolling here is nice, but just like in the air, it's just... It doesn't give you anything. Alright. Skin mechanic is flop. Added comments for delete wall. Wire up a controller. Usage. I mean, a mechanic doesn't have to actually be good for the players to like it. Magi. This is a cursed logic that you're playing with. Because, like, the first experience of the game, I have a limited amount of time to, hook the player. So I want to give them enough of a taste of the game to keep them playing. And something like subtle as a spin mechanic, maybe for like more advanced kind of manipulations. But when the player's just first trying out the game, they're not going to have that proficiency to know, the subtleties around it. And then if I build an early level around this concept of a spin mechanic and it doesn't hit right, then the likeliness of them sticking with the game is unlikely. So it was kind of helpful there, right? If I wanted to tweak and just kind of nudge the player onto the platform. Like I'm right here, just kind of spin left a little bit to get them on that platform. But yeah, it doesn't have that pizzow kind of feel to it. Is my bomb mechanic in there? Yeah, my bomb mechanic's still in there. Yeah, so placing a bomb. How do we place a bomb? So the bomb mechanic is how I handle diagonals, I think. So if I'm here, I can place a bomb and then shoot myself diagonally from there. And that's got like a wow factor to it because it launches you, which is lots of fun. Yeah, you're not wrong. To me, it seems like find the controls to tweak the harsh movements of those dashes. Yeah, yeah. The Metroid bombs are kind of cool, but they're like ultra ultra super awesome bombs. All right, so like to set up the bomb mechanic, I'll do something like that, and then like I want to set up like a launch of the bomb itself. Let's make it a little bit of a tighter squeeze. Let's see if that is something that they can. And then maybe a vertical thing right there. So like that. That's a bit too tight. Yeah, the bomb mechanic is definitely one of those like hooks that I have that I want to take advantage of at the beginning. So maybe right there. Right, so you shoot. Yep, and there's your bomb shot. And the cool thing is like I do the launch. And then here's the drop point right here. So I'll do something like this. So yeah, like new area kind of thing right here. Certainly seems difficult to design levels for if you want smaller spaces. Yeah. There goes my eye tracker again. Screw you, eye tracker. All right, so you jump here. You make it here. And let's see if this launch gives me a good launch. And like, there's your new area, right? And maybe like starting off, I wonder. I was wondering about how consistent these bombs launches would be. Or certainly a cool way to, yeah, travel mechanic. Yeah, let's see how consistent it is. So if I wait a little bit before launching, so much slower trajectory this time because I was further away from the bomb. Yeah, and you missed the platform completely. Yeah, so your launch for the bomb has to be like right on the release. So what I could do is have like a right, so your clearance, maybe that's a clearance point right there. So that was a good launch. So that should go over the clearance point. Yeah, you don't even see it, which is good. Yep. And then you land perfectly, but if you are late on the push for the bomb, yeah, you don't clear it. And I don't think, let me see, convert this to lava. I'm not rendering any lava right now, it looks like. Calc lava physics, where's my render? Render bombs, render portal, render game. Yeah, so that's for the walls. I haven't done anything for lava yet, huh? Oh, man. Copy pasta this. Lava! We'll make it blood red. Thanks for the stream. Sadly, time ending for the weekend. It's late Sunday night. Take care, O-Butts. That will forever be your name, O-Butts. Yeah, so that bomb launch was good. And you can place the bomb and then, like, yeah, shoot yourself in different directions. Yeah, that's a not so great bomb. There's your... Yep, that's great. 499, Q Death FX 188. Inside of main.rb. State that last checkpoint. Okay, I haven't set a checkpoint. All right. Let's add a checkpoint here. There's your checkpoint. Yep, so checkpoints are working. All right, so we have bombs, which are a fun mechanic. See, the tricky thing with bombs is that with bombs in place, do I really need this ability to move like this? I don't know. I think so. Yeah, I think I like the combination of bombs to like quickly move. Yeah, it was just that big launch that was causing the respawn to be so long. If I just let's put a death right there. I need to put another checkpoint here. Checkpoint. Lava. Yeah, so that respawns much faster. Make your way over here. Bad bad bomb execution, like too late. See, that was actually not terrible. Let's put another piece of lava here. I could probably make that respawn a little bit faster. Yeah, it's based on distance. You barely cleared it. Yeah, and the clear wasn't good enough. Yeah, if you died tons of times, I want it to be not crappy. I could have it to where like any kind of interaction with the with the controller, like if they press the launch button, immediately respawn them. I'm still working through these mechanics. It's just I'm trying to find something that feels good, and it just doesn't feel good. Lava.txt. That's for the shadow size. And then actually render the walls. So I need to render lava. To camera space dot merge. R equals 255. G is 0. B is 0. Yeah. So there's our blood red lava. Go here. Yeah, the lava, the just blood red lava gave it a nice color there. There's the launch. And now you're in the new area. And so like this is the spin that makes you like kind of floaty. So you can use that to kind of make it onto a specific area. Portal mechanic is like a nice another thing that I can play around with. So for example, all right, so portals, you get one bounce there. So see, that's where a spin could have been helpful. But yeah, portals give some interesting mechanics. So if I'm here, lay a portal down like right there. So if I'm here, I can jump up and completely miss the portal. Let's try this again. So you can use portals to give yourself some crazy amount of momentum. Falling downwards. Use the bomb to shoot yourself even higher. Woo! So that's kind of cool. Yeah, you can completely lose yourself with respect to where you are on this map pretty easily. Do have a zoom mechanic. Do have a zoom level. How do I set the zoom? Distance threshold is based off of okay, so that's for mouse. Do I actually set the okay, so I do have a zoom plus in. Yep. So there's my zoom. Yeah, it's like impossible to find. Once you these large maps might make it really hard to find specific areas. This could be like a this is a DR tile problem. Like, how would you even create tiles for something that's, you know, kind of experimental like this, right? I don't know how far off this tile will be. And it's based off of like where I land on where the player lands. It's like, so what grid am I? I'm at. The grid position is 7,7. No, 5,8. 6,8. That's the position of this area right here. Yeah, look how far you maneuver. All right. So portal mechanic is a thing. Bomb mechanics, all kinds of extra. That's a huge boost. Place or detonate. Feels like you need a tool that shows the trajectory given a current speed. Yeah, I think I had that trajectory. Tick trajectory. I had at one point I had this stuff rendering. It's just a lot of things to compute. Yeah, here's my trajectory images right here. Probably shouldn't do this every frame, but let's see what happens when I do. Yeah, so here's my trajectory images right here. I'm gonna place it in borders. Let's move it to primitives. Yeah, tick trajectories just returns nil for now. Yeah, so this gives me the trajectory of the player. But not when they're actually moving. I appreciate you chatting with me, Maji. It helps the thought process and keeps me from churning. Should probably be something that renders when you enter the level mid game with a shortcut to the trajectories collision points. Yeah, I could have a setup where I could have a function like go to grid position 6,3 or something. I think I have I have checkpoints. So I have a way to travel checkpoints. So if I do this right here, and then set up a checkpoint like right here. I'll make it larger. I need to render checkpoints too. What did I break there? 134. Yeah, this was some logic that I had with respect to unlocking different things. I don't need this anymore. So now N will take me to the next checkpoint. P will take me to the previous checkpoint. And rendering the checkpoints, I can do that like a pinkish color. 255, 180 for checkpoints. Oh, that's lava. Sorry. So there's my checkpoints. Maybe I just want that to be path equals pixel. There we go. So there are my checkpoints. So my checkpoint areas are like so. Yep, so I have shortcuts for traveling between checkpoints. I just didn't have it for like traveling between larger areas. Get rid of this wall. I lost all my checkpoints. This is all... I was in the middle of transitioning all this over to using these visuals. So my level editor is jacked again. Level editor checkpoints. There's my click. Yeah, I just have this hard-coded as save terrain definition. Is that correct? No, I've got my terrain type right there. Where's the type coming into play? Yeah, collision type is being passed in. It's strange that it didn't save the so if I set my checkpoint here, all right, that's good. And then what if I kill the game and bring it back up? Is my checkpoint saved? Yeah, checkpoint is saved. It's probably something to do with just unwise resets in between. What should that first experience feel like? Should it be like mission control? I found a rogue planet. Gonna check it out. And then there's like a option called, it's like launch. And then you see the ball kind of like falling. And you land here. Land here. And then it's like, yeah. What's it called? Contact made. Gonna look around, see what I find here. Looks like there's some anomalies shedding light on this terrain. That's like all the little wisps and stuff. You come over here, you're like, mission control, it looks like I found some kind of a, looks like there's a landing spot 800 clicks to the right. Gonna use my bombs. Launch with your bomb. That might be too good of a launch. I might miss the platform completely. Oh, almost didn't make it. You land, and you're like, yeah, some da 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 da, some looks to be landed in the area. There seems to be some something down there. Gonna need to use my portal gun to teleport something or another. Horrible storyline. Do I need the bomb? What happens if I just use the portal gun? Yeah, what if I just shoot the portal gun? Yeah, I don't even have the portal gun mechanic over here. Probably something that renders when you enter the level editor mid-game. With the shortcut, yeah, so that's the cycling. The question is, do I have too many mechanics? Should I just remove everything and have it all be about portals? Are the concept of portals too complicated? Will someone understand portals without some kind of helper? Maybe. If you can't tell, I'm really struggling with the direction to take this game. I'm really struggling here. Struggle is real, everyone. Yeah, Portal seems simple to me, but I've also played Portal 1 and 2, so it's already learned, yeah. And I can't assume that. As much as I would like to assume that people have played Portal and understand portals, yeah, the concept was non-trivial to learn. They spent like 16, what was it, like 16 levels before they opened it up to all the things. So like it took the first part of the entire game to understand the concept of portals. So just assuming that the player understands them is probably not a good idea either. So spin is too subtle. The spinning stuff is too subtle. Shooting is straightforward, which is good. The bomb mechanic is kind of OP and just gives too much mobility to where you can launch yourself like completely off the map. And portals are something that you have to learn. This is so difficult. Building a new concept game, these initial struggles are just... they're a reality for me because it has to monetize. Like, it can't just be, oh, I'm doing this for fun. Like this is do or die, right? It's got to be something that I can sell. I don't have the luxury of toiling away at this for months/years trying to find the perfect thing. I think the question should be around the mechanics themselves, but if you can design meaningful levels with any of those mechanics. Yeah, I think I can, like, fast to meaningful levels, right? Being able to traverse to different stages with the bomb is a facet of it. Spin is a dud. I was trying to say, like, oh, you can do wall kicks with the spin concept. That's a dud. Portals definitely can make fun, meaningful levels with portals. Just a lot of interesting things can be done with that. So that part's exciting. Yeah, just like lots of cool things can be done with portals. I like the concept of the bomb. Maybe it's too powerful. The bomb also gives you a way to, like, fight enemies, right? So you place a bomb here and then explode it if there's an enemy coming close to you. At least as I'm concerned, this is presenting itself as a puzzle game. And I know it struggled design levels. Yeah, and I don't want it to be a puzzle game. Well, I want it to be an exploration game and not necessarily puzzles, right? Like right now, you've got four movement capabilities. So maybe, like, when you start the game off, you only have one, and so there might be different areas that you can only get to when you've unlocked all four of them to make it to a specific area, or when you've unlocked a portal gun, or when you've unlocked bombs, or have increased bomb power. Right, those aspects can be in there. But yeah, definitely don't want to make a puzzle game. Puzzle games, like single solution type of puzzle games, it's too easy to get stuck. So I want the player to have tools at their disposal to get to different parts of the game. But, like, the mobility of the bomb is just insane. It's just insane. Mobility of the portals makes it difficult to create areas that are hard to get to. Like, this thing is just, freaking powerful. All right, so let's try this. Okay. Let's kill these checkpoints. Let's remove these walls. Move all this shit. all this crappity crap. All right, you start here. And all you have is the ability to shoot. Okay. So you only have the ability to shoot. No, I don't want it to be lava. Damn it. All right. So you're here. You've landed on this area. What's the first goal? All right. The first goal is you got to make it up onto this platform over here. All right. You have no powers. So you're like, success. I made it onto this platform. Now what? Now let's say you have to make it through this lava area. All right. Some more lava there. You're over there. You roll. Got to make it past the lava. All right. There you go. You made it past the lava. Congrats. You're not an entire noob. And so this part can be a little bit fun. I can have a nice big drop over here. Give you a feel of momentum or movement. All the way down. All right, so now you're all right, so reset. You're over here. You shoot, you got no other powers, you're looking around. Did I just lose everything? I got to get this save mechanic working if that's what's botching this hoo-ha. Yeah, my lava's gone. Everything's terrible. I am not having a good time right now. All my lava's disappeared. And now my stupid things are in the way. Maybe I teach you how to roll over here. Set a checkpoint. My eye tracker's getting in the way. All right, there's your checkpoint for that. You shoot. All right, you make it. You do your fall. Okay, now you're at this lower level. All right, great. Now what? Portal becomes kind of cool over here. Let me show you that. Let me show you how portal can be a cool mechanic. It helps if I have a ceiling for you to portal to. Did not mean for that to be a checkpoint. All right, you're over here. Shoot the ball. Make your way down. And now it's like, okay, well, how do I make myself get back up? Where to go? Let's try again. Don't tell me it's too high up. Yes, of course it's too high up. All right, now is that too low for you to clear the wall? All right, you can clear the area, good. Drop down. All right, you've got a portal gun, cool. That's one portal. That's another, and now you can drop in. And then you can make your way back up. Cool, right? All right, so there's not enough depth with just the aiming. This right here does not provide enough depth. Like, you aim, and that's it. And you either make the jump or you don't. So that's too shallow. So then I introduced the in-air maneuver. That forces you to learn how to do this. Right, so this is too tight for you to make it through, so you have to use this maneuver. So that forces that that mechanic. All right. Putting you all to sleep right now, aren't I? It's like, this is so boring. I know it's boring. I'm sorry. All right, so you're here. You've learned how to shoot well. All right, now you need to learn how to use the in-air maneuverability. You learned that. Yeah, how to introduce mechanics, and that's good. I'm glad you're not finding it boring. And yeah, the progression of the mechanics is just like, all right, aiming and shooting is not interesting enough. At one point, I had a shot power as part of the like the aiming mechanism, but it was too slow. Because I wanted to be like, oh, you can aim further or shorter, and that would change, that would alter the power of your shot. But it just felt it didn't feel fluid. So because I removed the ability to control shot power, all you have is direction to aim your shot. And I could have like, other parts of the level where I force the player to understand how to do like, a light shot to get over a vertical area versus something horizontal. I could add that. I introduced the concept of a roll here, right? So if you're at the beginning of the level, you're like over here, okay, cool. This is where you start off. And you shoot. And then here I say, oh, you can roll. All right, well, now I can roll, cool. And then after you roll, you do your shot. So you understand rolling. You get a nice feel of verticality and dropping, which is cool. Sans portal. Okay, so you land over here, and now in this area, you find that you can't just shoot. If you just shoot, you die. So this is where I introduced the orbital, what did I call it? Orbital OMS, orbital maneuverability system. So that's how you learn how to use that. And there can be some complexity in that. I can make you like go up to the right, down, left, and then maybe a spin to, you know, hit a platform. Maybe some more subtlety there. But then what? Okay, well, now that mechanic is too limiting. So now what? Orbital mobility gun. Yeah. OMG. I like OMG. Storyline elements will help push the narrative. That part's good. So now let's say like you're over here. Okay, well, you're dropping down, and then there's a portal that launches you up. Instead of introducing portal stuff, do I start introducing enemies? Okay, well, now there's an enemy. How do you kill the enemy? Do you kill it based on like your shots like that? Is that how you kill an enemy? You hit the enemy like this? Maybe. Maybe I instead of introducing a new like ability, give you the ability to like bash enemies with your face. Maybe I can make the OMS, give the OMS a bit more oomph. More is more. More feels good sometimes. And the thing is, it replenishes over time. So you can use that, to kind of fly through the air. Maybe I remove the ability to replenish. Maybe that's the replenishing mechanic comes later. So do I introduce enemies? Do I play around with the idea of having enemies and then, invest time in that only to find out that it's not that great? Portals could come later. That could be like a oh cool moment at the end of chapter 1 or something. Alright, so if I introduce enemies, what do the enemies look like? Metroidvania style enemies? Little floaty things that try to kill you by shooting bullets at you? I think that'd be interesting. Like there's an enemy coming, you get out of the way and then you hit it on the head. You bash it with your OMG. I like the idea of calling it an OMG. I might steal that. I might call it an OMG. Alright, so you get that ability, and then maybe now with that ability you can make your way back up. Maybe enemies is the answer. Gives you ability to kind of explore, not just playing around with maneuverability to like kill things. It's still not enough to make it up. Let's change the speed to 7. How would you decide if you hit the enemy with your face or if they hit you? I would say the enemies hitting the enemy's body is automatic hit from them. The enemy would shoot out bullets or something, so the bullets would give you damage. But if you hit the enemy with your body, then that's considered a hit on your end. All right, so now you've got the OMG ability, so you make your way back up to where you were. And now because of the OMG, so even if you roll into them, maybe at a certain velocity, like I could have an indicator that's like shows you that you're going like super fast. So then with this OMG mechanic, now you've got the ability to go access this area that wasn't accessible here. All right, so you unlock the OMG. I can have it to where the unlock requires you need 4 squares of OMGs to make your way back up. So this entire area could be dedicated to OMG unlocking. Expand on the storyline. What would the boss look like? We can do interesting things with bosses. So enemies will help expand that mechanism. The aiming reticle, it's kind of dumb, but like you need to be able to launch yourself somehow. Becomes less necessary. All right, so enemies could be a thing. All right, let's try enemies. Added stuff. I don't know. A Zelda boss or more execution based on based like Metroid. I have no idea. I don't want it to be too puzzly. I want it to be about fluidity in your movement over puzzle. Would be the primary thing. Did I lose my checkpoints again? I don't think I did. Maybe not all the checkpoints have numbers. Yeah, I don't want the bosses to be too puzzly. I want it to be about your fluidity of movement and what's it called? ability to kind of like think on your feet kind of thing. All right, so let's try enemies. All right, so I have calc game, calc camera, calc player. We'll have calc enemies. We'll just have one enemy for now. Where do I want the enemy to show up? Here, wherever here is. I can put that into my level editor real quick. Fine, let's do it. Level editor. Let's get rid of buttons. I'm not fucking using buttons and doors right now. Other broken mechanics that have never made it. Enemies loaded. Enemies. Don't care about doors anymore. You could have one of the ways you get more options being just finding more charges. Yeah. So I think you start off with one charge of the OMG and then you get multiple charges over time. I think that makes perfect sense. Collision type equals any enemies and enemies. Tile selection, safe terrain definition. Copy pasta. Everyone loves copy pasta. All right, there's your enemies. Oh, there's my bug. There's the bug. That's why my save was failing. Yeah, it was breaking whenever I did a deletion. There you have it. I was appending to the wrong file. You're not doing prototyping right if you're not copy-pasting everything. Yes. Copy-paste, copy-paste. Copy-paste has drawbacks, like saving everything into walls when you delete. Like an idiot. And I want to set the state.level editor collision type equal to wall. Lava, checkpoints, enemies. Cool. So I have it set to enemies. There's my enemy. Groovy. Why is it showing up like a checkpoint? Alright. Enemies there, that's good. I appreciate your happy little accidents, Magi. Calc buttons and doors. Buttons and doors don't exist anymore. Delete the function. $5.35. No closed doors. No doors. Where are my enemies? They're not rendering. I'm rendering lava twice. Brilliant. There's my enemies. We'll make enemies green. All right. There's my enemy right there. All right, cool. I have an enemy. Does the enemy stick around on load? Yep, enemy sticks around. Cool. Calc game. Calc enemies. E.x minus equal 1. You suck. Where's my load? Load level if needed. Not enemies loaded. That looks good. When is this called? It's called on level editor calc. Calc level editor. Okay. That looks correct. State.level.enemies. State.level.enemies. All right. Is my enemy moving? There's my enemy. It is moving. The enemy moved off the screen. That's great. Okay, enemy is moving. Groovy. Off the enemy goes into space. Yep. At least when I reset, it goes back to its starting position. That is at least comforting. Okay, let's kill the enemy. So if I need to get the speed of the player. So if I just hit the enemy like this, that shouldn't be enough to kill it. The enemy's kind of big too. I can make the enemy a little bit smaller. .40 by 40. There we go. Smaller enemy. Yeah, so if you just hit the enemy, maybe that's okay. Maybe any hit of the enemy counts as a kill. Sure. So Calc Player. We've got our portals, Calc Player terrain physics. Calc Player terrain physics just calls into Calc Player physics, really? Yeah, just a simple launch. You touch the enemy, they die. I'm cheating with this trajectory thing, but let's see. Let's remove the trajectory so you can't see that. Let's put a checkpoint here. Making progress. We have enemies now. Sure. All right. So, killing an enemy. Calc Player. Calc Player, enemy. Calc Player hits enemy. That's a great method name. Hitting. Is there 2 T's? Is it hitting with 2 T's? Sure. State.level.enemies.each. Do my enemies have IDs? State.level.enemies. Yes, they do have IDs. Cool. Yep, there's my hit right there. Calc Player writes a Shakespearean letter. Yeah, long method names is one of those things where you kind of want them, and then when you have them, you're like, I've made this method too long. And I want this to be just the first enemy. So if hit, then I want this to be a collision on the player. So Calc Player physics. Do I want all this logic? See, I'm not sure now. So, player physics. Takes into consideration all walls and all walls at this point. Let's get the enemy removing, and then we'll figure out how to get the player moving based on the hit. If hit, state.level.enemies. See, I don't want to delete the enemy from the level, though. So let's duplicate the enemies. How do I want to do this? E dot copy. And then here I want to do state.enemies. So I want to leave the level definition enemies alone, and only deal with hits against the actual enemy itself that's loaded into the level. So the level will be unaltered things. Yeah, long method names are tricky. Enemies.delete, hit. All right. Let's see if I can hit the enemy. Boop. All right. I have hit the enemy. Riveting. All right, so now how do I... So I've got this concept of collide DX and this stuff. So let's see what I'm doing here. Calc player physics. Okay, death animation. Train doors. So calc player physics. State.level.walls. Collision bodies. Collision bodies. Okay, sure. Collision bodies and collision bodies. All right. For my Bomberman clone method names were things like btick, bsetup, make new explosion segment. Yeah. All normal and sensible names. Except for the camel casing. A lot of original Ruby code was camel case for method names, and then with the popularity of Rails, names ended up being snake cased over time, which is fine. You know, whatever. All right, let's see what I broke with doing that. Okay, things are still good. Calc player physics. Whoa! Oh my goodness! I broke something. Ah! Stop! I only want this part extracted. Maybe. Yeah, I don't want to apply. I don't want to apply gravity or anything. I just want to deal with collisions. Yeah, jackpot, pinball. All right, so let's isolate this, and then we'll figure out exactly which piece needs to be moved over. All right, so collide dx and collide dy. Maybe this is all I want to put in here. And then the collision bodies would be state.enemies. All right. Does the bounce work? Got to pass that function in. Well, I wanted to play the bounce sound. Cool. That bounced. Maybe I want to get the hit first. There we go. That worked. In my callback, I want the object that it collided with. Making progress. Yeah, I want to keep track of the body that it collided with. And then in the I've got fade out FX, right? I have my fade out cue. And then for the enemy itself, I want to add to the fade out queue for either one of these. Don't worry about the angle. Body.x, body.y, width and height, body.path, and the target is the scene. So hopefully we'll get a fade, some kind of fade out mechanism. Syntax error 142. Give me a fade out. Of course not. It's body, not box. So, like, honestly, I mean, just thinking about specking out this feature, like, how would someone do this without hot loading? Like, could you? I can't even begin to visualize how you would do this without hot loading. I don't get it. All right, so like, how much time would it have taken to implement that in your industry standard game engines? Like, fuck that. How painful would that be? The cool thing is that you get an interesting mechanic here too with enemies. So I'll put myself over here. Enlighten me, someone. So if you had like 3 enemies like this. Wait, are those enemies? Yeah. So here are my 3 enemies. Trajectory. Let's add a trajectory. It wouldn't be painful, just be a... I mean, it wouldn't be painful. It just take a bit of time. Define not painful. I mean, that's the definition of painful. Waiting 30 minutes to compile is literally the definition of painful. But see, now you can kill enemies like by Mario bouncing on them. Like, isn't that the definition of pain? Oh, it's not that big of a deal. I'm just gonna make a one line change and then sit here and wait for it to compile. This is fine. But yeah, so now you can bounce on enemies. That's cool. Like, I find it painful just moving back to where I was. We get used to the pain. I get it. That was incorrect. I certainly don't have full context in terms of long, smaller changes take or whatever as NDAs. He does also work on the Lego games, so they're not exactly small, yeah. And they might have built-in level editors that allow you to like experiment. Definitely how pros do it, right? They'll have a built-in level editor like this that lets you experiment. That was strange. So I got to figure out collision, see exactly what's going on there. Because, yeah, that was pretty odd. But hey, you can kill enemies now. You can probably shoot bullets too. You can make bullets work pretty easily. But voila, we have enemy deaths. So yeah, I can make a cool boss or something. Yeah, that was just freaking weird. Let's have an enemy show up here. Figure out what's going on with this. Yeah, that's very strange collision right there. I love your collision. Your collision is the best collision. What the hell is going on with this collision? If there's a hit, I'm trying to see what kind of commonality exists here. No teleportation. Yeah, this is definitely cursed Maji collision. We'll figure out what's going on though. I'm sure I broke something there. Maybe I broke something. It's just like, LOL, here you go. That is some cursed ass physics right there. You and your breakout game. But yeah, I could have a boss that's breakout. Like I could definitely have that would be an interesting boss. That might be a really fun boss to make. A breakout boss. Yeah, this is completely cursed. Let's let's uh let's rethink the physics here. I mean, a breakout boss would be pretty cool. And I could also have it. So that's interesting too. So I'm just kind of like simplifying a little bit. Maybe for collisions with enemies, you don't lose your speed. Like when you bounce off of an enemy, your elasticity isn't changed. That could be cool. Yeah, using enemies as platforming segments, exactly. So, Collide DX and Collide DY. Yeah, that's all kinds of weird. Do I mutate DX here? I do. Yeah, so see this collide function is specifically for walls. I don't think I can. I don't think I can use it. Yeah, see, I changed the elasticity here. So if I want to generalize it, it becomes a little bit trickier. So it seems like, yeah, enemy collisions are just a little different. All right, so I'm gonna have to rethink collisions, but I do like the idea of like when you hit the enemy, your elasticity is perfect as opposed to it slowing you down. And yeah, and I think it can make an interesting game mechanic for like platforming and stuff. Where's my, yeah, there's my FX. Yep. So there's the break, and then yeah, deal with uh, the ricocheting of the enemy. See, the other interesting part is that maybe calc player physics needs to take enemies into consideration for its collision bodies. Let's see what happens when I make that change. So if I just do this and do state.enemies, segfault, nice. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay, yes. There was a segfault there. I get it. I get it. So what does that mean? Okay, so if I move everything into this collision mechanism, then what do I need to do here? Let me go into the level editor, load if needed. Give it a type. Wall, lava, checkpoint, enemy. So calc player hitting enemy. This is going to go ahead and go away. That's fine. Yep, so enemies are treated just like anything else. And I'll hard code it in here for now, and then we'll see what it looks like once I remove the hard coding. So if collision underscore y dot type is wall, only if the collision type is wall do I want to update the elasticity. And then I'll figure out how to clean this up. I just want to see if this is a better approach to handling collisions with enemies. All right. So yeah, so wall collision is that way. Else, my ears. Else if collision x.type equals enemy, I just wanna multiply by -1 instead of changing it. Collision underscore x y. Yep. So that gives me perfect elasticity. And you just kind of keep bouncing on the enemy. But if it's a wall collision, then your elasticity drops. Okay? And then I guess here it would be if body equals or body.type collision bodies dot reject and remove the collision body, maybe? It's getting all and then state.enemies.reject and then remove it from the enemies collection also. Okay, that looks good. And then I want the fade out. All this needs to be cleaned up. I want to see if I can get this working first. Gross. All right. Cool. And then here, so yeah, things get interesting here. Let's set this to 600 times. So this makes aiming more interesting too. Yeah, undoing in the past gives me anxiety. The thing is, I save everything to. So, Emacs has something called undo tree. Fun Emacs segue. So Emacs has something called undo tree, which allows you to actually have a history of your undos. So you won't lose your undos. So if I accidentally make a change, I can use undo tree to get back to a point where that change exists. Yes, if you use a crappy editor like VS Code that doesn't have undo tree, I can understand that anxiety. But yes, undo tree visualizer -diff. Undo tree visualizer mode. No, that's not what I wanted. Undo tree not enabled for current buffer. Well, that's terrifying now. Undo tree mode is... So I did have it. Undo... Let's try using undo tree real quick. Let's try using it. Basically, if you use anything that isn't Emacs, I think Vim actually has it too. Yep, Vim has undo tree also. So you can see your undo history. Yeah, it's only stupid editors that don't have that kind of stuff enabled. Because obviously you should have that kind of stuff. So undo tree mode. So I did have it enabled for the buffer. That's good. Okay, undo tree mode is enabled. So let's save these commits. Enemies kind of working. And let me see if I can actually use this super awesome feature that I claim is so great, but never used. Yeah, so I had that FXQ at some point, foobar. I added here, right? And I was like, oh, I deleted this and I added lines here, right? And I'm like, wait, I need that thing that I had up there. So I undo and then I accidentally make a thing, right? So now like, crap, I can't redo. So if I do undo tree, visualize. Yep. Yeah, so here's the visualization of my undos. And this was the point in time where I branched, right? I was like, crap, I accidentally did that. But yeah, I can make it back to here. So undo tree visualize is how I can visualize it. So yeah, there's your undo history. I could take it pretty far. Holy shit. And I probably want to customize the face. Customize mode. Undo tree mode. So let's see what the colors look like. Show. So active branch. I want the color to be not black. So the active branch will make white. That might be good enough right there. So now if I do undo tree, undo tree visualize, there we go. So there's my undo tree. And then this was the divergence, right? We're like, oh crap, you're going to lose undo logic. That's my active. Let me customize my face for inactive branch. So that's my active branch face. And we'll change this to like a lighter gray. Yeah, bright black. Apply and save. There we go. So there's my active branch, and then I can hit right or left to go down different branches, and then see different branches. There you go. These are things you want to invest in. I'm telling you. Hello, I wanted to see if you could tell me how to disable checkpoints in a car that drifts. Sorry, I can't figure it out. You need to be on the latest version. It's a car that turns. Car that turns. If you're on the latest version, there should be prism stones enabled and prism stones disabled. So disabling prism stones will disable your checkpoints. And you only get that option if you get a respectable time on Akina. I think you have to like beat it under 160 seconds to unlock that option. How you like the game, by the way? Welcome to the stream. I'm glad there's someone out there. Yeah, prism stones. So you can enable them, and there's my checkpoints. Prism stones are cooler to say than checkpoints. But yeah, you should see that option, and I added that in later versions. So if you've got an older version of the game, you'll probably want to update that. right? So they're enabled, and if you disable them, it starts you back at the beginning, and then from there on out they're disabled, and you won't see those prism stones. But yeah, I would love your thoughts on the game. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Recently released that to Steam. It's on Steam. Buy it for $2. Support indie game devs and stuff. It's cross-platform. It's great. Steam release? I have no idea. I'm sure I've sold ones of copies. Let's see. Card that turns. I have no idea. How do you even check performance? View sales and activation reports. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. $12 units so far. Not bad. Daily active users 4 in the past 7 days. Median playtime 4 minutes. Cool. 72 people wishlisted? Really? I don't believe that. Huh. That's interesting. That's a really high conversion rate, 13%. .1% conversion rate's high. I get it now. I must be too slow at Akina. I love the game. So does my son. It's so zen. I'm glad you like the zen aspect, right? You get in the flow and all that stuff. Mine is updated, so I just need to unlock it. Play on iPhone. I haven't seen the heart button or engine select, so I must have a way to go. Yeah, probably some of those wish lists. One, super happy you love the game. I can, if you want, I can make checkpoints enabled and disabled. Have that option by default without you having to unlock it. If you think if you think that's worth doing. The cool thing is that once you beat Akina fast enough, you get the faster engine. See the hood changes colors. But yeah, you get to unlock the faster, the speedier little car. But I'm super glad you like it. And I can enable this option from the get-go if you want. I just figured that people wouldn't want to disable the checkpoints until they've actually like beaten it once. Keep it as is. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but if there's a reason, like, I could see people saying, like, I want to have checkpoints disabled from the get-go, so I can, it's not necessarily a bad idea to set it up to where you have the option to disable checkpoints from the start. It's just, it's hard, right? So if you haven't beaten the map, I can see someone not wanting to disable checkpoints until they've actually, beaten the game with a respectable time. What do you think? I can, I can, I can unlock it by default. You'll still get the engine. The engine speed will still be behind on unlock. I think definitely don't want that to be unlocked if you can't, if you haven't beaten it with the slower engine. I'd also love to hear like any additional tracks you'd want. So I've got four tracks on there: Akina, Usi, Miyogi, and Irozaka. If there's like an additional like track you'd like to be able to go down, let me know and I'll add it. I'd be more than happy to add additional tracks. But I'm super glad you liked it. You liked the game. Gift it to your friends. Like I think people don't take advantage of like the gifting features on the App Store. But if you go to the App Store, you can actually like gift games to people, and that's a great way to support me is by buying it for someone else and let them scream and yell at their phone also. I like the breakdown. So Mac and Linux looks to be at 50%. Mac has the ability to gift. I don't know if Play Store gift game. How to gift apps and games to your friends. No, it looks like you have to send. You have to actually send money to them, and then they can buy it with that money. But yeah, App Store explicitly has a way where you can gift an app to someone, which means a lot more than just sending over cash. Yeah, it's nice that the App Store has that functionality. I've gifted games to my friends and stuff, and they, obviously appreciated it. Honestly, I don't think you should allow the game to be harder out of the get go. Yep. So there's a weird gameplay element where when I first started playing, I put it down because it was too hard and I couldn't get the flow. But my son kept playing, and I had to really commit and get into it. If the hardcore part of my personality had the choice, yeah, that's fair too. Well, I'm glad your son stuck with it, and I'm glad that inspired you to stick with it. And I hope you found it rewarding after the fact. Like, I know it's tough, but once you hit that perfect drift, it feels good. It feels really, really good once you get that perfect drift. But it's great. I love that you found the stream and you're like, oh, he built a car that turns, and yeah, it's a great feeling as an indie dev to hear from people that have played your game and enjoy it. My fastest time on Akina with the slow engine is 146 seconds. That's the time to beat. Cool. So we got enemies dying while retaining the bounce velocity. That feels pretty damn good. We showed how awesome Emacs is when it comes to super cool facilities, capabilities within the editor. Spoke with someone that has played one of my games, which is like the best feeling in the world. And I think the first boss is going to be like a breakout boss. That'd be so. I think that'd be really cool. And I got to clean this stuff up. I think that's a good stopping point. But yeah, exploring enemies first before exposing portals is probably a good approach. Yeah. And having the breakout enemy would be a good completion of the chapter 1. I really like that idea. Good idea, Maji. There will be cursed breakout in the little probe. Since I have the direct line to you right now, I also want to tell you Darkroom blew my mind. Really glad you liked it. Huge improvement over the online version. I told everyone I knew about a dark room, and I led my brother making a YouTube series about creating his own version of your game. So the game's going to come out on Steam in 2 weeks, and the source code is going to release with that. So you'll be able to mod the game completely. So if you're interested in getting into coding, or if your brother's interested in getting into coding, you can mod a dark room, which is big. There's also a pre-sequel to a dark room called The Ensign. So if you liked a dark room, I explore the events before you make it into the room in the pre-sequel called The Ensign, and you might like that also. So definitely give that a play if you haven't. Yeah, the source code's going to release with it, so it'll be moddable and stuff. I mean, the source code's terrifying. It's like been altered over a decade, so it's not the cleanest source code, but hey, you can mod the game locally. Make your own spin on it. But let's see. I love that I can just switch branches and it hot loads. But here's the Steam version of the game. Huge improvement over the iOS version. There's actually sounds and all that good stuff. And you can cheat. If you press the tilde key, it brings up the heads up display, and you can do state dot $game dot stores dot wood equals stores wood is equal to 2,000. There you go. I've got 2,000 wood now. Obviously, it ruins. It makes the game more interesting. It could potentially ruin the game too. But there you go. But bunch of huts already built. Monstrova source code. How would you imagine people modding it? Just be open it all up in DR. Would they be modding would not require DR. You would change the source code within the game directory, and then those changes would be reflected in your game. So you wouldn't need a copy of DR. But there you go. This is the Steam release, and I think if you type a Darkroom Steam, it should take you to the Darkroom Steam. The dark room. There it is. No. I guess it's not showing up in SE search engine optimization yet, but I think you can search for it. A dark room. Yep, there it is. So you can wishlist it there, and then 2 weeks a release, and you can play the Steam version. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Again, thanks for stopping by. Let me know what your fastest time ends up being. Try to beat my 146. Try to see if your son can beat my 146 second time. I'd love to hear someone beating that. And then I'll be angry and we'll have to beat it again. But thanks for visiting. Meant a lot. Appreciate it. Anyways, I think that's a good place to stop. Parting thoughts would be, yes, please, Maji, invest in learning an editor that's not VS Code, please. So many wasted hours, fighting editors that are not NeoVim or Emacs. Please invest in it. Yeah, I failed the first couple of times too. DM me. I'll walk you through it. More than happy to walk you through it. But it's worth investing in. All right. Great stream, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I might jump on later. Maybe do the breakout boss. Who knows? But we'll see how I feel later on today. Have a good one.